gosh, thanks for doing this. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is so cool. I was looking at stuff. There's a lot of activity happening here in Alaska. So I joined I just got busy. I joined a UFO page. I joined several remote viewing classes. I joined a group for psychics and mediums, and things are just happening, all kinds of paranormal stuff.
Are you cool to get started with talking about our close encounter?
Yes. I was in Anchorage, Alaska, and I don't remember how old I was, but I was maybe 9 years old, between 7 and 9 years old. Yeah. And we didn't live far from where we're living right now. And so what happened, I mean, to this day, I still would love to know what happened in between the space of time that I saw them and I woke up in the morning. But the deal is, I was going to bed. I was in my bed, and I decided to look out the window. And when I looked out the window, I saw 3 forms. I saw 2 like string bean looking characters. And then I saw one that looked like it was a ghost, but it wasn't like a ghost. It was like the cartoon character version of a ghost that looked like it had a sheet over its head with 2 eyes. And I thought, I was freaked out. So I just kept, I was looking at him, and then I got back in the bed and I put the covers over my head, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what is that? And then I fell asleep that way. When I woke up in the morning, they were all standing next to my bed, and they said, don't be afraid. And that's all I remember. I must have passed out or something, but it was creepy. And as I have listened to many stories of other contactees, they have not all of them, but many of them have expressed a similar experience, these same kind of creatures. And they're either in pairs, or there's at least 3 or 4 of them, So I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what happened to me. That's exactly what I saw. But I was young. So what I would have experienced was something that a young person would have experienced. Fear, what is that? Oh my God, it's scary. I wasn't thinking aliens, that's for sure. But since the future, I've heard all these similar stories, and I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what I saw, So I'm not ready to be reminded, or I have been reminded, and I've just been like what I do with my sound healing work and all the other work that I do, plus my desire to be a part of the galactic community, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So it's not a long story.
Yeah.
That was it. And then I've just been working to get, to have a memory of the experience between when I saw them and when I woke up, like it was wiped from my memory. And I know that now because that's what they do,
So do you the figures that looked ghostly, did it look white? I'm just curious.
Oh, they were all white. They were all white.
Okay.
They were all white. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, in my eye, that's what they looked like then. But maybe now, maybe I might notice some different variations of color. But everybody that I've heard, they all say the same. There were these white figures or whatever, and I'm like, wow. Or they'll say they look like the Greys or something like that, but there's 2 of them and 1 of these and 3 of these or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, so, I didn't imagine that happened, that really happened.
Do you think about this often, or do you feel like it has influenced the path that you've taken in life?
I'm pretty sure it has now. I'm pretty sure it has influenced the path that I've taken in life. But in the back of my mind, I feel like I'm in a space of continual, like, I don't need to feel like obsessed to want to figure it out now. Now I just feel like, you know what, I'm in constant communion. I channel, I do this work. So I know that I'm in constant communication, and whatever they told me, I'm on the path of doing that work that they gave me to do. So I feel somewhat settled in that. Like every now and then I do think about it. Sometimes I even forget that it even happened until I hear that, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, And at one time, like I'd say 10 years ago, I was going, oh my God, I need to remember. But then I realized I'm giving too much energy to it, just because, I could do a hypnosis or something like that. But I think the idea is for it to unfold, to rest in the knowledge that yes, it happened. Yes, communication was given. Maybe other things were given. Like there's always been this lump on the back of my neck. And I don't know what it is, but it doesn't feel like it belongs there. Other people, whenever I would go to get my hair done, they would say, oh, what is that knot on the back of your neck? Well, I mean, this from years and years and years ago. So maybe that's an implant. I don't know. But I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about, I'm alive. I'm healed. I'm whole. I'm healthy. So I don't put too much energy into worrying about that stuff. I feel like, I do have some kind of communication, but I also feel like I know I think I've expressed in interviews that I want to work for the Galactic Federation. I want to be a part of whatever is going on Earth and in other places. I don't know how to get into that. I don't know where to start. So I've started locally addressing police and law enforcement. Hey, do you need psychic mediums? Do you need people for paranormal investigations and stuff like that? Because I've accepted the call, I feel like I will end up on that road. If I follow my guidance and intuition, I'll get to the places. And there are all those gifts don't just unfold. There are key moments or encounters that happen, and then all of a sudden it's like you hit a switch inside your body and things that were there become activated. So gifts that you've had all along, you can use them up to a certain point, and then all of a sudden you meet Crystal, and then Crystal says, "Ooba gooba ooba," and the next you're also doing telekinesis, because she activated. She was the
like we're activators to each other.
We're activators to each other for sure.
I do believe that that my encounter I was given a mission. Mm-hmm. I believe that 100%. Mm-hmm. And I did try hypnosis, mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that your intuition is correct because what I was told in my hypnosis is that I already know the answers. I need to mm-hmm. trust myself. Mm-hmm. And so all of these things are innate inside of me. Mm-hmm. And I think that we get upgrades every mm-hmm. once in a while. That's kind of what I think is this real aligned mm-hmm. with what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. We get upgrades, and then we also get downloads of new mm-hmm. information because I've been told that timelines have shifted, and
we were just talking about that.
So that's why my call mm-hmm. to record you mm-hmm. and others, mm-hmm. there's other mm-hmm. people that I'm talking to, mm-hmm. They're all aligned on their mission, but mm-hmm. I believe that bringing us all together in this way and in mm-hmm. This format where we can share it with other people. I'm being told that broadcasting the information on YouTube or however we want to get it out is really mm-hmm. important because then it calls we all connect. We need mm-hmm. to connect now. This is the time mm-hmm. when we need to come together and each do the parts of our mm-hmm. mission because we're all like little puzzle pieces for each other.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen. I did a vocal alchemy class, and I'll be doing a vocal alchemy class once every second Tuesday of the month. But on Sunday, I did a little class and I did a talk with this Adams Center here in town, and one of the women said, yes, the timeline has shifted and we've all accepted to be here on this particular timeline. Mm-hmm. But when she said that, it was an activation for me. I've been just thinking about it because when the pandemic started, I was sitting in my room and I was feeling some kind of way. I don't remember, but I was overcome by this feeling of this joy and this lightness and this feeling of just beautiful energy. And it was saying, hey, do not for one moment allow yourself to be synced into that fear. There's an energy of fear and doubt and devastation. And if you allow yourself to go into that, you will see yourself living in that way. you should be happy and joyful, talk about healing and health and wholeness, see the positive, see the upside. You know, when people talk to you about life, talk about your business and how it's doing great, talk about how you see yourself in the future, wealth, money, love, happiness, joy, because that life is going to continue going on. And anybody who's talking about the end of the world, you get away from them, because it's the end of their world, not yours, you know. And there's a whole mass of us who are shifting into a consciousness and reality of here, and those of us who are going in the complete opposite direction. And so when she said that, it reminded me of what they told me at that time. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm constantly choosing timelines. You know, it just all of a sudden it became super real to me that my decisions aren't just, they're important, but now they become even more so important, because every time I choose, I shift. Where every time we make a choice in this moment and these days, we're shifting. That's how how fast it's happening now. Every decision I make to do the right thing, or for me, is a shift into the reality that I want to be in, you know. And so I have to constantly be focusing on what I want and not what I don't want. Otherwise, poof, I find myself over there. So the revelation of that is so it just fills me with a lot of good feeling, you know, knowing that nothing is as it seems.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about some things, but nothing is as it seems. And you're kind of walking in this world of like, you're walking in between worlds, you know. You get to be, you know, I don't know, I can't explain it, but I think you know what I'm saying. So yeah.
I know. Yeah. I've explained it as I feel like I have one foot on one side and one foot on the other side, like I'm straddling or bridging two worlds, because I know that I'm a conduit, I'm a connector, and I connect through water, you know, and crystals and any form of water.
Yeah, I love water. Yeah.
One of the crystals and water and sound. Sound is a big deal. And I think you know, I probably connect through water. I think you connect through sound so viscerally. And I think that that's how you're broadcasting. Do you know what I mean? How that's part of your mission. And I think it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Well, the alchemy class I'm teaching, this class that I'm doing now it feels so good, because everybody there is on key. They're on point. I've never been in a class where everybody was like so ready and they're experiencing it. Like I just remember that I have had to spend so much time just trying to I'm talking to them. I'm like, okay, this is how it goes. And they're just kind of like, I don't know. Okay, yeah, I kind of felt.
They're like me. No sound will come out. I can't even like.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, okay, well, I can feel their energy though. Like they might even be expressing something about it, but I can feel that they're like, yeah, okay, you know, this was fun. But this particular group, these are my warriors. These are the people that I'm training to go into the future. You know, like I was activated to talk about all the things that we can do with our vocal alchemy, but in doing so, I was like, oh my God, we actually quite might do it. So we did energy manipulation in the class with our voices, and these people did not bat an eye. They were like, yep, let's do this. I said, let's do it. They were like, all right. And they did it.
That's awesome.
And it was not like rocket science. And I was like, wow. But they are advanced metaphysician type people. They're people who they go to the Atom Center. They've been listening to people talking about this stuff for years.
They're very open.
Ready. They're very open. They were ready to receive this information. I feel like I'm in the right place doing the right things and stuff. And so it's slower than I want it to be, but it's happening, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think like this episode in the season that I'm producing right now, I'm calling it Finding the Way. And I feel like that you are exactly where you should be, because we're all right now finding the way. You know, we're finding the way to where the new way will be, because the old way wasn't working. So now we're finding our way. And and I think that I think through creative expression is a really good way to find the way, you know. And
Yeah.
My very last question that I have is, have you ever made a piece of art or something that represented your encounter?
I've made several.
Uh-huh.
I've made several, and I continue to make them. They show up. They just show up in my work. So the one about the fear that I just recently did with the sequins, absence of fear. That's what it's called. And the two beings of light, and they're helping relieve of the absence of fear. And then I did an energy painting years ago that I sold at a market, and it was called Beings of Light. And it was interesting because at first glance, it looks like just some paint stripped up and down on a paper. But as soon as I looked at it, I said, oh my God, these are beings of light.
Yeah.
And there was a shaman woman at the market, and she said, I want that. You know, she bought it.
That's, I mean, I'm a little, I'm loving that, because I also call them beings of light. And I didn't even, you know, like, that's just what in my mind, I always had the question of like, what is this light? What was that light that I saw? Because it wasn't like any other light I had seen. And so, and then when I went to Altai and we were opening a portal, the beings that we were working with, that we were referred to by the shaman as the illuminated beings. And that was very aligned for me because it felt like the same beings. And so I think I think the light, and when people say like you're guided by the light or something, I believe that is, you know,
be the light. They say, they're always telling me to be the light, be the light, be the light. So I'm like, okay. And what that means is just be the light, you know. And I'm just like, okay. It's not always so easy, but
I know, right? It's simple. I've gotten the message of simple many times.
And I have some others like that I did their healing paintings, and they're not, I believe this, you know, I believe this healing work was given to me by them. So I do that. I have a language that I write in. I'm just looking at some of these. And so the language is part of that. A part of the messages from them.
I think the visuals are part of this. I think that art and song and dance and all of that is a part of this. And I'm just trying to, you know, one by one, fill in the gaps, and hopefully these things will inspire other people to either, you know, because like you mentioned, everybody, there's so many people that fight it, you know, and I think there's a lot of people who have innate abilities in whatever it is, but it doesn't fit the mold of what they were maybe born into in this realm. You know?
And so they freak out. They're like, oh my God. I know a lot of people struggle, but only, and I don't want to say only in America, but I feel like tribal people, Aboriginal people, hold on, I'm trying to, there you are. Okay. Of different cultures and all over the world, they knew about this stuff. They understood it. And so when it happened to people, the people could say, hey, yo, I know I wasn't one of the people that got contacted, but homeboy down there in the streets or in the jungle, he did. So send Kunta Kinte on down to the shaman up here so he could get treated, because, you know, I don't think there was a tolerance for, you know, allowing people to just run around being crazy. They were like, oh no, he's not crazy. He sees the spirits. So send him to this place. And then they interacted with these people as people who see the spirits, people who know stuff. They had great power. They had great magic. They just needed someone to help them to understand it. But here, what we do is we scare the crap out of people. And we say, if you hear voices, you need to go get some electroshock, and you need to take medicine. You need to go to the insane asylum, where they're going to pretty much treat you like an animal, and you're going to have to stay in a bed and be strapped to it and eat pills all day.
And we're going to study you. We're going to try to figure you out. We're going to, you know, we're going to use you as our guinea pig, because.
And then you're ostracized by the society.
And I've been guided to document these stories, and I'm just going to keep doing it. And I don't know where it's going, but it's helping me find the way. And I hope that it helps other people find the way as well. So I really am grateful that you are sharing your story, and I think it's helping you find the way too, when you put out there what it is. And so I think this is a shift in the right direction.
Yeah, I feel like right now it's a big shift in the world, the way we live, and we're all experiencing this shift in a different way. We're all experiencing this shift in a different way. I feel that the world is kind of at a standstill. On one hand, we are like, it's almost a kind of cognitive dissonance where we know something is going on, but we just figure if we ignore it, we won't be bothered by it. But at the same time, it's like, no, you need to pay attention, so that you could be in the right timeline. If you're not in the right timeline, so you can't freeze yourself and go, I'm just going to stand here and hope nothing happens. No, you have to make a decision. And I think there's people either here or there, and those are very few people. And there's a wide expanse of people who are just kind of going, if I just stand here, I won't notice, they won't notice me, or nothing's going to happen. And then that's the weird, that's where all the crazy people are that's the end of the world, Armageddon.
Well, I think I really feel like we're on like a precipice, like maybe a tipping point, or that part right before you're either falling this way or back this way. But it's that little balance of that I don't know, like just
pendulum swing or something like that.
But it's that pause,
right?
And I think this is when we have the opportunity to choose our path, whether we're going this way or this way. And I just know I'm going to keep going towards the light and towards what is exciting me, because that makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like I'm making a difference and I'm helping people. And so I think all of us that are on a mission are really aligned in kind of the same direction. We might be going in different ways about it, but it's all the same.
Well, the other thing is hard for people. The thing that causes people not to choose is the idea that there are people in their immediate circle of family and friends that are not choosing with them. That can be extremely devastating. Like, if you're not super close to your parents, then it's not, you're like, well, but if you are, it's heartbreaking, because you feel like it's this ecstasy feeling where you're being led off into this light, and you would love for them to go with you, but
they don't even see it.
They don't even see it, so you just sound like somebody who's losing their mind, right?
Totally. Exactly.
And then there's their friends who are just kind of falling away because they're like, I don't know what they're into. And it's not like you have to do this. No, it's like you just rise, you live the life you're living, you're going about your business. And it's the opposite of be like when you're a Christian and you want to proselytize everybody. It's the complete opposite of that. Because then this way you just float towards the light. You just continue to live, do the best you can. And then you look back and you say, but they're not coming. And you also know at the same time, it has to be their choice.
Well, I know from personal experience that when I feel something really strongly, that I should or shouldn't do something, just whatever it is. And when I don't listen to myself and I go against it, there's always massive repercussions. And it isn't even so much like one thing. It'll be a bunch of things that'll almost come at me like an artillery, like, hey, that's the wrong choice. Don't do that. So, and then I know I've had to like really stop then and be like, okay, I just made the wrong decision. I know it because I know, like, I know inside myself I made the wrong decision. How do I go now back on track? And I do believe that we can all get back on track. I have that belief in me.
You just have to keep making a choice. You can't get caught up in the, oh my God, I didn't do it. Now what? I lost. Oh, I've lost everything. You got to be like, okay, wait, I got to get back on this road. And maybe it may take you some steps to kind of catch up.
Exactly.
But at least you can't stay, back there,
Tamara, thank you so much for doing this, and keep on shining.
Yes. Keep on shining.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.